Hi, this is Nate, and today we are going to be reading Chapter 34, French Indochina. There was a beautiful country to the south of China, a country that had been ruled by France for about 100 years. The French called the land Indochina. The people who lived there called it Vietnam, and Laos and Cambodia. Does that sound unusual, for a Western nation to rule an Asian nation? It wasn't unusual at all in the days before World War II. Britain ruled India. The Netherlands ruled Indonesia. The United States ruled the Philippine Islands. That kind of foreign rule is called colonialism, or imperialism. Imperialism is the policy of expanding a nation by taking other lands. Most people knew that colonialism wasn't fair. We had once been an English colony, and we hadn't liked it a bit. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said that nations should determine their own form of government. As soon as World War II ended, we granted independence to the Philippines, but some Asian countries had to fight to become free. India's leaders fought with hunger strikes and nonviolent protests. In Vietnam, they fought with weapons. Vietnam had a leader named Ho Chi Minh. As a young man, he had visited in England, the United States, and France. He knew Western ways. He'd been a poet and a photographer, and he spoke many languages. Back in 1919, he had tried to get President Woodrow Wilson to help the people of Southeast Asia gain their freedom. Wilson didn't respond. When Ho learned of Philippine independence, he was encouraged. He wrote 8 letters to President Truman, asking for help in making Vietnam free. Those letters were never answered. Perhaps Truman never saw them. We don't know about that, but we do know that in 1945, Ho Chi Minh founded the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. Some American military men were present at the independence ceremonies. The Star-Spangled Banner was played by a Vietnamese band, and Ho Chi Minh spoke words from the Declaration of Independence. When American planes unexpectedly flew overhead, everyone cheered. Over here we have a picture, and it says, Ho Chi Minh studied in Europe, spoke several languages, and knew Western ways. But the French didn't want Vietnam to be independent. France had lost the country when Japanese soldiers invaded during World War II. Now that the war was over, the French wanted their old empire back. Ho Chi Minh stood in the way. Ho was a hero to his countrymen. He had fought against the French and then the Japanese. Now he wanted to keep France from controlling Vietnam again. The French asked the United States to help them fight Ho and his forces called Viet Minh. They said Ho was a communist, and he was. He had gone to Russia and studied communism there. He believed in freedom for his country, which didn't necessarily mean freedom for the individuals inside the country. Ho was an independent kind of communist. His goal was to free Vietnam from all outsiders. He needed help. When the Chinese communists began sending supplies to Ho, he was happy to have their aid. Perhaps if Ho Chi Minh had not been a communist, we would have stayed out of the affair, but we soon sent military advisors to help the French. Then we gave France $10 million a year to fight Ho and the Viet Minh. That was when Harry Truman was president. And down here we have a picture, and it says, Mao Zedong on left, the leader of Communist China, sent supplies to neighboring Vietnam to aid the forces of Ho Chi Minh on right. And up here we have a box, and in it says, for much of its early history, Vietnam was ruled by Chinese warlords. When Vietnam rejected Chinese rule, it kept much Chinese culture. Both China and Vietnam were Confucian countries. See the next page for more about Confucius. In the 20th century, China turned to communism. So did Vietnam. By 1953, when Eisenhower was president, we were spending $400 million a year to help the French in Vietnam, and before long, almost twice that amount. It wasn't enough. The Viet Minh kept winning. Vice President Richard Nixon and our top military leaders urged the president to send American bombers to Vietnam. Eisenhower refused. The French prepared for a major battle. They were confident. They shouldn't have been. Their army was beaten and trapped, and most of the surviving soldiers died in a terrible jungle march. That was more than enough for the French people. They showed in elections that they were ready to get out of Southeast Asia, and since France is a democracy, the people prevailed. A peace conference was held in Geneva in Switzerland. Vietnam was divided into two sections, North and South. The division was meant to be temporary. Most of the food-growing regions were in the South. Ho Chi Minh was the leader of North Vietnam. He was now a great popular hero. After all, he had driven the French out of the country. South Vietnam's leaders were chosen by France. According to the Geneva Agreement, elections were to be held within 2 years to reunite the country. The elections were never held. The South Vietnamese leaders wouldn't allow them. Before we move on to the next page, there's a picture up here. Ho Chi Minh became a popular hero in Vietnam. The poster calls for allegiance to Uncle Ho. And down here we have a box and it says Confucius. Traditionally, the Vietnamese were followers of the ideas of Confucius. It is hard for most Western people to understand that Confucianism is not a religion in the same sense as Judaism or Christianity or Islam. Confucius said, "I am simply one who loves the past and is diligent in investigating it." Confucius was a teacher who taught morality, or the way to a good life. That good way is called Tao. He found its guidelines by studying the wisdom of the past. Americans and other Westerners do much thinking of the future, about invention and progress. Confucians try to perfect systems that have been tried over time. These are very different ways of looking at the world. And over here we have a statue, and the caption says, Confucius taught the way to a good life. So moving on to the next page, they knew Ho Chi Minh would win. Soon there was civil war between the communist North and the pro-Western South. Remember the situation in Korea? Was this the same? We were now out of Korea, and many of our nation's anti-communists believed that Vietnam was the place to take another stand against world communism. Those who wanted to send bombers and fighting troops were called hawks. Those who didn't want to get involved were called doves. President Eisenhower said that if we let Vietnam become communist, it would be like watching a row of dominoes fall. The first domino would set off the others. Soon all of Asia would be communist. Eisenhower's advisors were hawks. They urged him to fight, but none of them really understood Southeast Asia. Hardly anyone in America did. We'd fired our China experts, who might have helped. Eisenhower was wary. "I'm convinced that no military victory is possible there," he said. Remember that statement. You will read more about Vietnam. And up here we have a picture, and it says, Ho Chi Minh led Vietnam to independence from French rule, and then became president of Communist North Vietnam. So that was chapter 34. I hope you all have a great day.